Hey, what is up YouTube? And in today's video, we are taking a hands-on look at fast charging for the iPhone X. Now the purpose of today's video is I ran a little test to see exactly how long it takes the iPhone X to charge when using the fast charger. Now before we get too far in today's video, I just want to say to enable fast charging on your iPhone X, you actually need a different charger. You need these two little guys right here. You need the 29-watt USB-C power adapter, as well as the USB-C to Lightning cable. Now these guys are a little pricey in my opinion. This guy right here was $49 and this guy right here was $25. So to enable fast charging on the iPhone X, you actually need a separate $74 charging cable and brick adapter that does not actually come with the phone. That unfortunately is what it is. That is what Apple is charging for these guys, and there really is no third-party fast charger for the iPhone X currently. Anyway, like I said, for today's video, I actually ran a hands-on test to see how long it takes the iPhone X to charge when using the fast charger. Now, if you guys recall, I actually did a fast charging video on the iPhone 8, and in that video I went and turned the brightness all the way down on the phone. I enabled things like airplane mode, but essentially I still left the phone screen on while the phone was charging. So what I did for today's test is instead of filming the test actually on screen, what I ended up doing was just leaving the phone screen off, and then periodically throughout its charging process, I would just pull down the control center and see what its charging percentage was at. But just like last video, before I began the test, I ended up enabling airplane mode to turn all of these services off. I went into the brightness area and I made sure True Tone and Night Shift were off just to make sure those services weren't eating up any extra battery power or slowing down the charge process. And then also before I began, I turned down the brightness of the phone as well, just because throughout the test, like I was saying, I had to turn on the phone for a split second, gather the battery percentage, and then turn the phone off once again. And so just to make sure that process went smoothly and didn't take up too many resources or skew the results of the test, I ended up turning the brightness all the way down before I began. Anyway, that is what the test that I did looked like with the fast charger. Again, like I said, I will be doing one for the normal charger as well, but let's jump into the results. I ended up putting them in an Excel graph, and I will put that up on the screen now. So over here is my data. As you can see, I started off at 0 and 0, and that is when I plugged the phone in when it was completely dead, where it would not even turn on to the cover sheet. And then at 134 right here, the phone initially turns on, that you can see the cover sheet, and I can check the battery percentage, and it was at 1%. So here are my data points. Here's the time, and here's the battery percentage right here. And then over here on the graph, as you can see, I have the battery percentage on the y-axis and then the time and duration on the x-axis. So just to confirm with you guys, this 1% right here is at 134. What's really interesting to see is just looking at this graph overall. But when I go to this first data point, it's at 1034 and it's at 10%. Now that seems a little slow in my opinion, but what's really interesting is right after that, it just took off. On the next data point at 1629, so 16 minutes into it, we're at 26%. And as you can see, it just keeps rapidly growing. 5 minutes later, we're at 10 more percent, and 5 minutes later, we're at roughly 10 more percent again. And as you can see, it hits literally on the dot pretty much that 50% mark in 30 minutes, which Apple promised. So Apple pretty much can confirm, and that's pretty much confirmed, that the fast charger does work to charge it 50% in 30 minutes. Now what it doesn't state is what happens for the rest of the time or after that percentage. Now this graph kind of illustrates that a little bit better. Is continuing along, you can see that up to about 75-76%, it charges it really fast, and you can get up to 76% in 53 minutes and 28 seconds. But then after that, it just starts slowing to a crawl. I mean, going from 78, which is at an hour and 3 minutes, to 90%, I mean, this is roughly a half an hour span. That's what these little bricks are right here. So, you know, from 75 to 90 or so, 30 minutes. And then from 90 all the way to 100, it ended up finishing in an hour and 58 minutes and 54 seconds. But going from 90, which was at an hour and 30 pretty much, to the very end, that took 30 minutes to go 10%. So while the fast charger may be super nice at the beginning, it still slows to a crawl just like all the other chargers at the very end of it. Anyway, what I thought was very interesting is that after the 50% mark, you can still get pretty much up to 75 at a decent rate until it really starts to slow down. So the last thing I wanted to do was just to throw up a quick trend line, and that's a linear trend line, and I'm just going to change that here in 1 second. If I go to something like logarithmic, that seems to follow it pretty well. As you can see, it starts off super fast at the beginning and then eventually just kind of tails off and gets a lot flatter, meaning the charging rate isn't as fast. But anyway, guys, I really hope this video helped you out. I hope it was interesting to take a look at fast charging and kind of get a behind the scenes look of exactly how fast it charges. Like I said, I will be doing one with the regular charger, and then we'll be comparing these two results in a follow-up video to this one. Let me know down in the comments section what else you guys would like to see along these lines. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see what the 12-watt iPad charger looks like as well, and if I have time to do a follow-up video on that, I will. Anyway, thank you guys again so much for watching. I appreciate the support. If you guys want to stay updated more often, please follow me on my social media accounts. And again, before you head out, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to be updated when I release videos just like this one. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. And until next time, this is Tony, signing out.